Hello, I'm Dr. Chambo Gonmei, CMO Tamenglong. I've been here for quite some time. Usually, in the past years, I was posted outside the district, but here this is my native district, and I've been working as a CMO for quite some time. And also, I was appointed as a honorary wildlife warden by the Forest Department, Government of Manipur. And it's my passion when it comes to environment things. Okay.
Sir, before we discuss the wildlife conservation efforts at individual and organizational aspect, can you give us a brief overview of the health profile of the district?
Yes, a very, challenging part when it comes to health sector, and we have been trying our best to improve the health sector with the cooperation from with the support from the district administration, not only from the state side, and so we seek the cooperation of the people also, and it's an intersectoral thing, and moreover, our district is considered as the highly focused district of all the districts in India. And the government of India is giving maximum attention to improve the situation here. Yes, but then when it comes to implementation of the various health programs, it's not that easy in this place where they are full of terrains, and it's a very mountainous regions, and transportation, communication, connectivity is very difficult, and it's quite poor also. But gradually, things are improving. Now what I want is that if we have to reach the unreached people, we need more manpower and commitment from the health staff also, and this manpower, human resources, has to be provided from the state. And there are many people in the valley who are posted there, and we seek their help and the service to the poor people, because many people in the hills are deprived, not only in Tamenglong but in other hill districts also, when it comes to the interior regions. So sometimes even if we want to move to the interiors, it's very difficult of the road communication, and during the monsoon it's very challenging task again. Even immunization is a failure during the monsoon season, because there are so many landslips, roadblocks, and some bridges, bailey bridges are washed away, and walking is a big problem. And also like in sometimes even 4x4 vehicles and all, it cannot reach the interiors, so we have to take the help of the Shaktiman trucks, and if these trucks cannot go also, then we have to go on foot. And some people are not used to all these things, and they don't want to face this kind of life. So we have a lot of things that needs to be improved in this particular area.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the challenges that the Department of Health, the medical department, the district hospital, and I saw a community health center and sub-centers also, they must be facing. But many people do not understand that the government also has huge challenges like this. We want to know your engagement as a wildlife warden, and what is the objective of this particular effort?
Our life in this world, the ecosystem, it's all interrelated. So we cannot live without the proper environment, without proper conservation of this wildlife. And as God has created human beings, and when He created animals and birds and all it, God said it's beautiful. I have been inspired by so many environmentalists when I was in schools and also when I was in the service. So I took up this, I had a passion for this one, so I took up this environmental activities way back in 1993. And then I have not given up fighting for the people of this, particularly not only in Imphal area, but also like in the hill areas where people are so ignorant. And because of this massive destruction of forest and rampant hunting, killings of saying animals and birds and all, has disturbed the ecosystem. And here we have been advocating to all the villages and also the village authority that we need to stop this habit, because when we try to look back in the past many years when our forefathers were staying here, when they were alive, and they have a they praise God that God has created these beautiful birds and animals. They sing praises to God and dance about this hornbill bird. Now it's an endangered species. And then because the feathers that they were having, it's a say costume for dancing and all, and they don't kill the bird to get the feathers. It's a very natural thing that when the when they flap the wings and all, some portions of the feathers, it falls down, and they picked up those things. And then that's how those ancient days, our ancestors and all, they used to use this kind of feathers for their costume for dancing and all. So any dance is named after one animal or something other. Like hornbill and amur falcon, we call it a Hoipina dance. And then also we have this horse dance, we call it Takwon lamb. So like that, then we have a bee, Khoiruna lamb. So like that, so we have a different that shows that they really care for nature. And this, in our generation, we are destroying the nature. That is why now we are facing a lot of difficulties when you go to other places, when you want to see some deer or a barking deer or whatever it is, some hornbill also we hardly sight these days. We don't hear the sound of hollow gibbons. We call it a pang. And these endangered species and all, we need to preserve. We should stop killing so that our children's children can also see and enjoy this beautiful God-given creatures. So I have been fighting for this preservation of all this forest and also conservation of this wildlife. From village to village, we have been along with the nature lovers. We used to go, and now somehow I managed to form this a rainforest club, which is very needed, because I cannot fight alone, and we need people. There are so many young talented people who can come forward and fight for this sustainable environment.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey, the genesis, and what drives you to do this work. What is your message to the common man with respect to wildlife conservation, and not just wildlife, but even care for the culture that we have lost?
Yes, this is a very pertinent question. We have been telling our people that you stop cutting trees. I don't mean that 100% you have to stop cutting trees. But the thing is that, the rampant deforestation means like when you do this zoom cultivation and all, of course we need to find a sustainable livelihood for them, for the people. But then if we keep on rampant destruction of forest and animals and all, there will be a change in our way of living. Like there will be a climate change, and then we may not have this kind of water that we are having, getting from even these Godai hills in Tamenglong district. So the main source of water for Tamenglong district headquarters is from Godai. And now if we destroy and if we encroach this particular hill area, then all this hill range, then we will not be able to sustain, because without water we cannot survive. So my message to the people is that let us preserve forest, because that is the main source of water. And another thing is that you keep on killing animals, because it's a cycle thing, and all these carnivorous animals, they prey, they have a prey for sustaining. So if we kill their diets, I mean their food and all, the food chain will be disturbed. And then all these animals, if it is gone, then those another wild animals like tiger or whatever it is, when they come, if they don't find their prey, if they don't find their food, then obviously they'll attack the human beings, and then the whole thing will be disturbed. And if you destroy the forest, they won't have a place to stay also. So let us respect the culture that was imbibed by our ancestors, so that we can now we have to revive it again. And I would like to appeal all the young people, all the villagers, all the people of this district and elsewhere, that we need to fight for a sustainable environment by educating the people. And if we don't educate, just giving them some kind of laws and acts and all, it may not help. But then we need to give them exemplary kind of life, that suppose you find some animals there in the market and all, people are selling, you just tell them, and then give them some advice, not that just why are you killing and why are you selling. We cannot just force them and do things like that. It will give a very negative impact again, because they are fighting for their livelihood also, the people, the poor people. So the socio-economic condition is very poor. So if we can find some ways and means for a sustainable environment, then for our livelihood, then of course people will do away with all these kinds of killings, rampant killings and deforestation.
Thank you, sir, for giving background on the practices which are going on now and the needs to educate people, because laws and policies are post-mortem, but preventive care is only brought by sensitization. A last question to you is, can you describe the initiative, the thought process of the community in past generations? What did the ancestors feel about environment? What were the mythologies or instructions of the community to conserve wildlife and forests?
Say, it varies from tribes to tribes, and many people have, particularly the tribals and all, they have a similar kind of culture, their way of living and all. And we also, like in the past, that our ancestors also, they sustained for their living on animals also, no doubt. But they don't do it the way we do it here. We use guns, and if we kill one animal, some animals and all, I think that I'm a hero, and then I become very proud and all. So things that we do here, in those days it was a bit different, and people have the attitude towards the wildlife, animals were so different because we can see and we can hear from their songs and stories and all like that, that they, you know, they worship or even like they care for all these kind of creatures, that yes, if we harm them, then we will not be able to sustain. That kind of attitude was there in the past years, many years back. But then nowadays we don't have that kind of thing. You tell me to, who are you to tell me to stop killing all these wild animals and all like that? But then the things that we are so ignorant now, whereas those in those days people were more that they have more wisdom, I should say, and then like they are more civilized than us now. This is what I find. And from our forefathers and my grandfathers also used to, my grandmother, they used to talk about the years where they used to, when they're young and small, when they used to sing and dance and all, and in all praising these beautiful creatures that comes over here. For example, Hoipina, this amulfagan, that comes here, and if it comes, the harvest is plenty. This is what they feel. So they don't kill those amulfagan. So whenever they come, then the paddies and all, because they eat up the insects, all the grasshoppers, on all the all kinds of germs and termites and all like that. So even the oranges were so plenty, because the even the say parasites or other insects that are eating up the plants, not only the paddies, this amulfakan comes in this particular season in October, November and all, during the harvest time, and then they do away with all these kind of things. That is why our forefathers were so happy, and they dance glorifying God. So that was the attitude. But here our attitude now is a bit different, and we need to change. Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Dr. Chambo, the Chief Medical Officer of Tamenglong District, Manipur in northeastern India.